as we get into the training, this will develop over time, certainly. But the big idea as these modules are developed, right? The big idea here is to help save dollars and keep personnel safe and healthy through flexible strategy during an ever-changing condition. Aaron, you've said many times, and we'll probably touch on this in future things, that idea of keeping your people safe and fed and sheltered and is really kind of one of your central components to this whole piece, right? Can you saving dollars is certainly a part of that as well, but you've always prioritized the people ahead of that, right? So I think that was a really good thing, and I was wondering if you could share when somebody doesn't do that, what goes awry? What have you seen from your experience that if this doesn't happen, if the money's first and the people are second, what are some of the things that you've seen in your tenure that can go wrong unintentionally many times?
Yeah, I've seen so many times around the industry where you're correct, where someone focuses on the wrong thing. And again, I'm like you. I'm not saying they do it intentionally, because I have to watch myself. I get so, at times we get so laser focused on completing a mission. It's like, oh, golly, I didn't think about that. Right. And I don't think I hope no one ever puts money above people. But we've all done it unintentionally. I've been called and so, why aren't you doing this? And it's like, whoa, I hadn't thought about that. So we all need to have people looking over us, questioning us and learning from that. But you can sit here, excuse me. I've seen instances where I've seen food on some catering sites, and it was like, there's no way on earth you should be feeding that to these people that are working 16-hour days there's never good conditions after a storm restoration. It's hot, it's cold, it's muggy, it's freezing, whatever. Right. It's never good. And you're feeding them junk food that is terrible that you couldn't sell on the street. You could not sell it. It's so bad. Now, what happens then is those people are not happy. Yet alone, they're not nourished, they're not healthy to give them the energy they need to work, but they're unhappy. And you can sit here and it's not a cliche that, unhappy people are not good workers. Folks, I've seen it, and I'm sure a lot of us have seen it, is these people, when they are not fed, let me assure you, they are not performing at their peak, not only production, but safety. Their mind's on, I'm out there climbing a pole thinking, that was the worst meal I've ever eaten. And my mind's on fussing and at the food. And I'm thinking about, well, I'm just going to go down the street and buy my own. Their mind's there. It's not on performance and it's not on safety. So you have to be, in my mind, the happier you keep them, the more laser focused they are on doing the job, getting in. And if they see, and I've seen this, when employees feel that you have their back on food and housing, and they know you're doing your best and you're getting them good food, they're going to perform for you. Because people, in my opinion, inherently, the vast majority of people, when they're taken care of, they want to please you. They want to be seen as a hero going down the street. So it's just imperative that we do the right thing, and your money will come back, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I've heard you talk about this several times, Aaron. That's a little big thing, right? People don't think about food, right? You got to feed them 3 times a day. They need the calories and the protein, they need a balance. And, we all know what happens when we're not fed. So I didn't even think about that, especially folks that are in harm's way. The second piece you've mentioned in the past is they go into these areas that it's negative. It's not a positive environment to go do this, right? So emotionally, it takes its toll, I'm sure, especially when you're down in like Puerto Rico scenario, that had to be extremely hard for people. So you're right. The keep taking care of the people. That just impressed me when you said that before. So,
Hey, Aaron, can you help me with putting a container around, what the storm school is zeroed in on your presentation? And it is logistics, and I understand logistics. We have all different aspects of logistics. We have the personnel that you're zeroed in on in our discussion now. And certainly there's subcategories of that, such as food and lodging and shelter and that type of stuff. Then you have equipment, which if you don't have the right equipment, again, safety and efficiencies and everything come into play. And then you have the transportation aspect, that you're actually moving these types of resources from point A to the area that is affected by the storm. It is all of this. That's an array of discussion that we're zeroed in on today. Are we zeroed in on all that, or are we focusing on the personnel side today, Aaron?
I'm following you guys. I don't know, but you're exactly right, John. Is that, or that's the way we have defined it. I know at Southern Company, and the way we have worked on it from EEI and SEE in our mutual assistance processes. It's everything outside of putting wires up in the air. It's everything. You're exactly right. So I don't know where I'm answering your question.
No,
John.
I got it. No, well, I just, we probably don't have enough time to cover all of these activities. So
no, we won't.
yeah.
No, you can't cover all of these in 90 minutes and cover them well, should I say.
Right.
Yeah. And that was really kind of the purpose to our deep dives, because John and I both, Aaron, realized that the topic you have is like 10 tentacles, right? And each one is really deep. And this is why it's hard to grasp, because you didn't learn this overnight, right? This is an ever-changing environment, and with multiple storms and scenarios with multiple parts to that. So today we'll touch on a few pieces of it. But John, that's a good question, because I think we're going to be interviewing Aaron a couple of times here by the time it's all done. So